Hello and welcome back to this University Deep Dive. Today we're joined by Anna Lovell. She is studying a real estate program, an undergrad program at Marquette University. So Anna, we're really excited to have you and to learn more about your program. So thanks for coming today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Absolutely. So as always, Spencer, I'll turn the time over to you and let's get started.
Yeah. So Anna, again, thank you for joining us. I have a lot of respect for Marquette University and what y'all are doing around real estate education. You know, I spent a small time of my career in Milwaukee, so I've got a little bit of Milwaukee in my heart. So again, thank you for joining. I guess start out for those who are listening. Let's put ourselves in the shoes of someone, maybe a freshman or a sophomore considering studying real estate. And pursuing a career in real estate. What does it mean to be a real estate undergraduate student at Marquette University?
So it means a number of things. I want to start by saying that it does not mean selling houses. When I came into college, I actually went in business undecided, and I went to a real estate networking event. And when I first went to the event, I thought, oh my gosh, like, I'm not going to want to do this. It's selling houses. Like, I'm not going to be a realtor like you see on TV and everything. And I quickly realized that's not what it is. So what real estate means for me is just having the ability to talk with a bunch of awesome people and just honestly being able to network all the time and build relationships and help people, find different things that they need. So Marquette does a really great job of giving us all exposure to industry professionals. And so being a student at Marquette, you're able to have kind of a close-knit community where you have this awesome experience and exposure. But also, you get to see the different sectors of the industry, and you kind of learn about what it is pretty early on, and it's really easy for you. You have a lot of resources to go to get more information on it.
Yeah, that's great. And so let me reiterate what you said, which is a really good point. In this context, when we say real estate, we're really meaning commercial real estate, right? And so real estate in our nomenclature means buying office buildings, developing apartment complexes, managing industrial warehouses, assembling portfolios and selling those or packaging those up where pension funds can earn the cash flow from them. I mean, that's what commercial real estate is. And so what I'm hearing from you is at Marquette University, you're going to learn the skills or at least gain the preliminary experience in order to break into that industry. So you're a junior at Marquette University, correct?
Yeah.
At what point in your undergraduate study, your program, do you elect to study real estate? Does that happen on day one when you arrive as a freshman in that first semester? Or at what point do you have to make that election, have to declare, hey, I'm going to study real estate?
So honestly, it's at any point in time. As I said, I went in undecided. So I'd say my first semester, freshman year, toward my second semester, that's when I declared a real estate major. And then I also became real estate and finance because the majors work super well together, and you can have a double major. And, people think it looks great and it's so much work, but really it's one extra class. So it's really great that Marquette lets you do that. But I mean, we have so many different people in our program. I know a number of people that had been focusing on finance, and then they came to, first semester, junior year, second semester, sophomore year, and they were like, hey, I'm not loving this. I think I want to do real estate. And we have awesome professors and advisors that make it possible for us to kind of switch around and do everything and still graduate on time. So our program, we also have it set up so that you take your intro to real estate course at some point, typically your sophomore year. And then when you reach your junior year, you take courses where they only offer them in the fall or the spring. But with that being said, if you had missed that course, say, your junior year, but then senior year, you were kind of like behind the track, they still will be able to get you to take that class your senior year and graduate on time.
Got it. Okay. So you declare at some point, it sounds like in your freshman or sophomore year,
Typically.
there's an introduction to real estate class. talk to us about that. Like what goes on in that introduction to real estate class? And by the way, can you take that class and then change your mind about your election to study real estate?
Yes, you can. So that class is offered as, we have a number of business core classes, and Intro to Real Estate counts as one of those. So a lot of students take it whether they actually want to do real estate or they just want to kind of find out what it is or get that business elective, in a sense, like over with. And that class, we cover a number of things. I know that we typically, the way that my class was formatted is we started with different legal terms and kind of went through easements, liens, like definitions like that, what they mean for different businesses, what it looks like to be a broker versus a developer. And we had a ton of guest speakers come in. And so we'd have guest speakers come in that were either brokers or developers. And then we actually had these developers that came in and showed us their development that they had just done. So as part of class, we got to basically go on like a field trip and go see this site. So it was really awesome because you get to actually see the real world to what you're learning in the classroom. And you also get an introduction to the financial aspect of real estate as well in that class. So it's just, you get a ton of different experience.
Yeah. So you take that class. By the way, that sounds like a great class. And anytime you can have some practical experience, hear from individuals who are actually out there and doing it. Development is fun. I should note, there are a lot of really interesting tracks in real estate, development being one of them. A lot of young professionals want to go the development route. But again, as a sidebar, there's a lot of other interesting tracks as well between acquisitions, asset management, portfolio management. You mentioned brokerage, advisory, like corporate real estate, a lot of really interesting things in real estate. So it sounds like you're getting exposure in that introduction to real estate along those lines. What about, and I guess you're in your junior year. So I apologize if this question is too out of line here, but what other courses can you take beyond the introduction to real estate that help you understand various areas of real estate and get you the education that you need, say, to qualify for an asset management job or an acquisitions job or development job?
Yeah, so we, the way that our program is structured is you do get to have really great experience in the different sectors. So like I said, we have the intro class, and then we also have the real estate finance class, which I'm currently in as a junior. And then we have the development class. We have a financial modeling class where they walk you through how to do all of these different financial models. And actually, I know that Andy teaches that, Andy Hunt, the person who's in charge of the Center for Real Estate, and he loves using your site to show the class. So just a little side note. But then we also have a cases class, which actually has stuff like urban real estate development and intro to construction management, investments, advanced real estate. We have a number of different electives you can choose from. And then we'll also have some adjunct professors come in and teach those so that it's somebody that's really familiar with the industry. Yeah.
Well, Andy's real estate financial modeling class sounds like the most fun of all, but the other ones sound interesting as well. Let's talk about extracurriculars, right? So one piece is the education. That's important, especially in your undergraduate study. But how can you get exposure to the industry outside of the classroom? Talk to us maybe about some of the extracurricular offerings at Marquette and where you can rub shoulders with industry professionals, learn about the industry outside of the classroom.
Yes. So Marquette, I think, is especially special in this sense because we have so many opportunities to do these extracurriculars where we have experience with professionals. So we typically go on a few trips a year, and we are always kind of going down to Chicago and going to different conferences there. Like they have a DePaul Collegiate Conference where you're able to go and speak with a bunch of different professionals in the Chicago area. And there's also trips where you get to go to Los Angeles for NAIOP and go talk with different development people there. And we also do a number of case competitions where you get to go places like, Villanova or different, like Chicago as well. But then we also do a trip at the end of the year for ICSC in Las Vegas. So then we also have our club, and our club basically focuses on two main things, which is being able to have networking events with professionals and being able to have site tours. And so our different networking events with professionals, we get people from all over the place, specifically though, Chicago and Milwaukee. And so we get to have these events, like for example, our Intro to Real Estate event is coming up. And that's what I mentioned earlier when I decided I wanted to be a real estate major. So those events are awesome because they're like round tables essentially, and you get to have individualized time with professionals. And then you always get the networking aspect afterwards as well. So we have a number of events throughout the year. We typically do 1 to 2 events a month. And then on top of that, a site tour every month. And so our site tours will tour a building that is either under construction. So for example, the BMO Tower in Milwaukee, we were able to tour that while it was still being constructed. So while it was still being built, we got to go and tour, go all the way to the top in the elevator and see it when it was almost complete. And then we also have awesome relationships with professionals where we get to go and tour buildings once they're complete. And we also, as I mentioned for the center, we also have different conferences that they do. I also just wanted to touch on one that they do that's a national conference, and it attracts like 300-ish professionals, and students get to attend for free. So stuff like that is super attractive to students because you get all of the exposure to the industry for no cost. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, a lot going on outside the classroom, no doubt. Let me ask you about something I've heard. What is this Judgment Day for seniors? I've heard it's a case competition, or talk to us about what that is.
Yeah, so it's essentially a case competition where it's a class where all the seniors kind of have this property and they come up with a development plan for it. And then the winning people, they win the case competition, and it's judged by all industry professionals. So you get to have all of these professionals in the same room kind of judging the work you're doing. And it's a really, really great experience. Especially it's great to get people in front of professionals and being able to present in front of them and just, really expanding on their commercial real estate knowledge and once again, applying it to the real world.
Sure. And a good way to possibly meet future employers, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, let's talk actually more about that. So alumni is a really important thing, the strength and breadth of the alumni base in any school. Talk to us about alumni at Marquette University. What kind of support do you get from alumni? And are there any programs that allow you to specifically connect with them?
Yes. So our alumni is insane. Like they are so helpful in helping everybody get jobs. We actually boast 100% job placement after graduation.
Wow.
So a lot of people actually refer to Marquette as like the Marquette Mafia because they're everywhere. Like there's literally like every Marquette alum is so happy to help out a Marquette student. So if they see Marquette on your resume and you can connect that way, it's so easy to get a job from Marquette. And so that's been huge for so many people, especially, during years when it might be a little bit harder to, find a job. Marquette alumni are always, looking forward to hiring Marquette alum because they know that the Marquette program is really great.
Yeah.
But we also do have, there's a network called Realm. And so they are able to kind of we partner with them for some of our events with the club. And so they'll come to our events, and then you not only are talking with professionals, but you're talking with alumni. So then you also share that university connection, which is really important.
Great. So you mentioned jobs. I think that's top of mind for all seniors and many juniors, right? You want your real estate job. What internship opportunities exist? You're in Milwaukee, but you're close to Chicago. So I think there's probably a pretty good base there, but talk to us a little bit about what internship opportunities are available. Are there opportunities outside of the Midwest? And then talk to us about where many Marquette graduates go on to work. Not names of firm necessarily, but locations. Is it concentrated in the Midwest, or do they have a reach beyond the Midwest?
So I just want to start by saying that we do for sure have a reach beyond the Midwest. I think that wherever you go, you will come across a Marquette alum in real estate because we do have such a great program and people move around all the time for their career. And so, as I mentioned, Andy Hunt, he sends emails, and at the bottom of every email, he will send a large list of internship opportunities. So if you're somebody that gets intimidated by, Googling stuff or looking on LinkedIn or anything, he is #1 resource to help you find those positions where you can apply. It's as easy as going on his email, clicking on the link, you can read more about it, and there's so many opportunities. And so honestly, you can get an internship at any point in your college career, and networking with these professionals at all these events that we have outside of the classroom have made it so easy to get internships. And I would say, though, that the majority of people from Marquette are based in Chicago and Milwaukee. There are obviously a number in places like California and Washington and New York. But for the most part, I would say that people do typically stay kind of around this area, but also our program really prepares people to be financial analysts. That's kind of like the track, I think, that we really, really do an amazing job of. And I think that that's really important, even going into something like a brokerage role. If you're not starting off as an analyst and you're like, I'm just going to go right into being a broker, you have that financial background, which is harder to learn on your own. It's nice to have that structured more with the program.
Yeah, that's what's impressed me about Marquette's program is it's very practical.
Yep.
And there are other schools that are practical, but many aren't. Many are academic in their real estate education, and the result is those who graduate with those degrees, they have a little catching up to do on day one. And I've been impressed. I've worked with Marquette real estate students. I have interacted with others out in and out of work and through ACRE, and I've been impressed really with the quality and caliber of the people who are coming out of your program. So congrats on that, Anna. Congrats to the administration. But we're low on time. Let me ask one more question for you. Okay. It's a question we have thrown to everyone on these deep dives, and there's some interesting responses. So looking back now, you're a junior. So you've had a couple of years at Marquette, a couple of years studying real estate. What would you say is the most memorable real estate related experience or tangentially real estate related experience that you've had thus far at Marquette?
That's difficult because I've had so many awesome experiences. But I would say that the most impactful moment that I've had was when I was a freshman and I was first semester freshman. I kind of, we got this email about this big business leaders forum that we could go to and go see a CEO of a global company come and give a speech. And then you could click a box that said, seat me at a table with professionals. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to go for it. I clicked the box and I was at a table with all these professionals. And from that experience, I actually landed my first internship. No commercial real estate experience at all, no background, but I got an internship from just sitting at a table with the professionals. And so I would say that taught me that it is extremely important to be comfortable being uncomfortable, going into those uncomfortable positions and kind of pushing yourself to be the youngest person in the room is always a great opportunity to get even further in your career. So I think that that's probably the most impactful moment for me.
That's a great story, Anna. And thank you again. You have a bright career ahead of you. I'll be excited to do some deals with you in the coming years. So thank you again. and thank you for sharing your insights about Marquette University. It'll help those who are considering their own real estate education. So with that, I'll turn it back to Sam. You can wrap us up here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, for sure.
Thanks, Anna, for coming. And thank you to all of our readers / in this case, viewers. We hope this deep dive has been valuable in helping you navigate your CRE adventure. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.